Good morning, everyone. I know it's been a while since I last fasted. I had some dates in the diary that I knew I'd have to break my fast for social events. And so I sort of broke my fast. I've been eating small bits. I've been fasting here and there, one whole day, 2 whole days there, and then eating like 570 calories one day there, 390 calories another day there. So I'll go over the details in a moment, but I just wanted to let you know why I stopped filming because I didn't want to be like fast 5 day one and then break and then fast 6 day one and like just doing lots of 1 day fasts because I wasn't quite sure how it was all going to work out, and so I just let it flow naturally with no pressure, no stress. If I was hungry, then I ate that day. If I could fast, then I fasted. And in total, in terms of all the stats of what's happened, I'm now going to go through it with you now. My sleep has been not amazing. There's been too many nights where I've not had enough sleep. So this morning I'm quite tired because last night specifically I've not had enough sleep. I came back home from work late last night and I had to get out of bed early this morning. So today I felt like, when somebody is sleep deprived and you have to push them out of bed, I had to push myself out of bed, and I am not surprised that my glucose is low today, because normally when you feel like this you want to just go for a bowl of oatmeal and just pick yourself up, but I am fasting at the moment, so I can't do that. So I just have to force my body to naturally produce glucose from ketones. I think I am producing glucose from ketones at this point because it just feels that way. It's just intuition. Because at first, when you first start fasting, your body burns out all the glucose from your liver and turns fatty acids in your blood into glucose as well, triglycerides. And then after that, your body then has to train itself to use ketones and turn that into glucose. And that's why a lot of people tend to hit that wall around day 4, 5, 6, 7, because your body is going, I need to produce glucose from ketones. Oh, I haven't done this in X years, X days, whatever. And your body kind of, yeah, that's partly what that wall is. So since my last video, I ate and I've been not eating. In total weight, I have lost 1.6 kilograms. So that's pretty good. Even though I've been eating and fasting, I'm still losing weight. It's going to be pretty clear actually when I tell you what my glucose and ketones are. Because I ate for a few days, so I didn't measure my glucose and ketones because I figured my ketones would be very low. But then when I started fasting again, so I ate a small meal when I started fasting again, and it was, I'll tell you exactly how many calories it was. Oh, just bear the line with me, people, one moment. Forgive me, got lots of things open. So first day when I started kind of like getting back into fasting, I ate 336 calories, and the next day I ate 571 calories. And then the next day I fasted, and then the next day I ate 393 calories. This is where things started getting interesting, because the day that I ate 393 calories after my fast, I felt like, wow, I have so much energy. It was a low-carb meal. It was mainly sauerkraut and a little bit of cashew butter and linseeds and collagen, because that's what I had in my fridge and pantry and kitchen at the time, and that's what I thought would be healthiest. Get some live bacteria in me, get some fiber in me, get some collagen in me, protein. So it was 19 grams of protein, 15 grams of carbs, because I also had some chicken broth, and the carbs came from that mainly, and 26.8 grams of fat. I also had MCT oil and supplements to look after myself, and I had so much energy after 393 calories that I went for a run. Would you believe it? And it was a short run, but I could have gone on longer actually, but I didn't want to push myself. I wanted to take it easy. It was a 2 kilometer run. Normally it takes me 12-13 minutes, but because I was tired, it took me like 13 and a half to 14 minutes. The other thing that really surprised me was my ketones. So the first 2 days when I was eating, fewer than 600 calories, my ketones were at, so my glucose was at 4.1, ketones at 0.6, glucose ketone index of 6.8, So I was still in ketosis after eating. Well, after a small meal like that, you should be, hopefully. And then the next day when I ate, my ketones by the end of the day, glucose was at 4.2, ketones were at 1.6, giving me a glucose ketone index of 2.6. So I was really in a strong state of ketosis on the second day of eating. However, after the day I fasted, my ketones shot up in the morning. Glucose 4.2, ketones 1.2, give me a glucose ketone index of 3.5. And then that got even better by the end of the day, 4.4 glucose and ketones 1.9, 2.3 glucose ketone index. And then the day after that, when I had my 393 calorie meal and then I went for a run. So before I ate, my glucose was at 3.6 and my ketones were at 2.9. After I ate, then went for a run, an hour later, my glucose was at 3.7 and my ketones were at 2.9 again. Give me a glucose index of 1.3. So that really surprised me because that's a really high level of ketosis after eating. I was like, wow, that's amazing. That pleasantly surprised me. And then the next day when I woke up, the day that I fasted, yesterday, glucose was at 3.6, which is like the normal level, and ketones were at 4.3. Give me a glucose ketone index of 0.8. I'm like, what? But I ate yesterday. So I'm really chuffed. I did not expect that. I'm learning so much about ketosis and fasting, and I did not see this coming. I guess this is just an indication that my body is getting used to fasting, and because I'm eating healthy, this is just a good sign. This morning, I am feeling very tired, as I mentioned, because of work and everything, and I've not been able to walk, I've not been able to keep myself moving. I find that the more active I am, like if I'm standing and walking while I'm fasting, the higher my glucose is and the easier everything is. Like you're pushing constantly, but everything's kind of like easier because you're just pushing yourself along. But because I had to sit at a desk yesterday and it was so warm and like I'm sleep deprived, this morning I'm not surprised. My glucose is low, it's at 2.6 and my ketones are at 5.5. Give me a glucose ketone index of 0.5. I am in the highest state of ketosis. I'm pushing my glucose now. I do suspect that my body is using ketones to produce glucose because I'm having to push myself to produce it, and with time my glucose is rising. I do not want to eat at work, mainly because the last time I ate, I felt like I needed to go for a run, and I will not have that opportunity at work. So even though my glucose is low, I'm going to, before work now, focus on getting it high as much as I can. I'm going to focus on going on a cycle ride or a run or something and forcing my body to kind of like wake up and get over my sleep deprivation, because that's what it is. It's just exhaustion. I know that my glucose is already rising. Normally 2.6 is a figure that I'm uncomfortable with. I am uncomfortable with it. It's low, but I know that it's going to rise easily. I'm not worried. This is like an exception. So I have been eating MCT oil, not all days, most days, and with supplements. I've noticed that when I go to pee after taking my supplements, like when you have Barocca or something and your pee just turns like that fluorescent yellow. No, that's not happening to me. I can just tell my body's just soaking everything up. And I've mentioned this before, but one way to know that you're in ketosis is in the morning when you go to pee and your pee stinks and it's yellow, like that kind of like dirty. That's when you know that you're in ketosis, because your body is just getting rid of junk. In terms of resting heart rate, my resting heart rate did drop a bit. And then because of eating and sleep deprivation and stress and everything, it went up a bit. So it's still at 58. It's at the same level. I think I'm going to see if I can get it to start dropping again, especially now that I'm running and exercising. That's going to be really good for lowering my resting heart rate. My skin definitely feels a lot softer, partly because obviously I'm fasting and also because I've been eating collagen. And for me, I'm like a touchy person. I love, people have love languages, apparently. I don't know if it's true or not, but how some people like words of affirmation. Some people like gifts. Some people like, you know, hugs and being touched and like holding hands. And I'm definitely one of those people. And I met up with a friend and had this really nice, good hug. And it just made me feel so good. And I think that also did wonders for me. Um, oh, lockdown was awful. I really didn't enjoy lockdown. Not being able to, like, because I live alone. Yeah, that kind of sucked. I don't think that did any favors for my body, just being deprived of hugs. So I'm really glad that things are returning to normal. Yeah, that was just a little side note from me. In terms of fun fact, do you know that the Great Wall of China, one of the ingredients was sticky white rice? Yep, I'm going to read you. Workers built the Ming Dynasty sections of the Great Wall about 600 years ago by mixing together paste of sticky rice flour and slaked lime, the standard ingredient in mortar. The sticky rice mortar bound the bricks together so tightly that in many places weeds still cannot grow. And that comes from the Telegraph. So on that note, I just wanted to update you. I hope you guys are all well. I'm probably going to fast today. I'm going to probably get my glucose to go up, probably go for a run. I've been cycling whenever I can, whenever I've had time. I feel absolutely like fitness. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I don't know if you can tell if I look any better or not. Hands, getting better actually. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And on that note, I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe.